Okay, let's take a look at this one. It takes Sean 16 more hours to paint the house than Michelle. Together, it takes them 8.4 hours to complete the work. How long would it take Sean to paint the house by himself? Okay, so it's a shared work problem. So we got 1 over Sean plus 1 over Michelle. And they're working together. So 1 over together. Now it says take Sean 16 more hours to paint the house than Michelle. So if Sean's being put in reference to Michelle, so Michelle's the x. And Sean is 16 more hours, so this would be x plus 16. And then total they're finishing in 8.4 hours. Okay, so this is our setup. Now we want to multiply everything by the LCM of all our denominators, and since I can't factor any of them, my LCM would just be the 3 multiplied together. So I got 8.4x, x plus 16, times 1 over x plus 16, plus 8.4x, x plus 16, times 1 over x, equals 8.4x, x plus 16, times 1 over 8.4. The x plus 16s cancel here, the x's cancel here, and the 8.4s cancel here. So we're left with 8.4x plus 8.4 times x plus 16 equals x times x plus 16. 8.4 distributive property. 8.4 times x is 8.4x. 8.4 times 16, 134.4. X times x is x squared. X times 16 is 16x. Combine like terms on the left side. 8.4 plus 8.4, 16.8x, plus 134.4 equals x squared plus 16x. Now I want to solve for x, so I'm going to take everything over the right side. Guessing it won't factor, so I'll probably have to use the quadratic formula. Remember, when you take anything across or equals, your sign changes. 16x minus 16.8x, I believe is negative 0.8x. But since I stink at decimals, let me check it. Negative 0.8x minus 134.4. Now I could get rid of the decimals. I could multiply everything by 10, but then it looks like it'd be kind of a hideous problem to try to factor. So I'm going to use quadratic formula. Try to remember if we've covered the quadratic formula. Let me do it both ways. Or at least talk about this. I'd multiply everything by 10. So that'd give me 10x squared. When I multiply a decimal by 10, it moves the decimal place one place to the right. So that's minus 8x minus 1344. Now I can factor, what could I factor out of 2? And that gives me 5x squared minus 4x minus 672. This would be a key number, so we take 5 times 672. 3360. It's going to be a huge table, just to save time. I'm going to bring up Excel. It's a little bit slow. Okay. So I got, what do I got? Let's see, 1 here, and 2 here. Actually, 1, 2 here. And this will be equals, what number are we dealing with? 3360 divided by whatever number's here. Okay, let me fill that down. Not sure how far down I need to go. This problem actually shows the benefit of using quadratic formula versus factoring. Okay, now I'm looking for something with a difference with 4. I still may not be down far enough. Assuming there is something. There it is, 56 and 60. Okay. So, I have 5x squared minus 60x plus 56x minus 672. And I'll factor by grouping. Here I'll factor out a 5x, and that gives us x minus 12. And then here I'll factor out a 56. I'm guessing that's 12, but let me see. 672 divided by 56, 12. Okay. So then I'm going to factor out an x minus 12 because they have that in common, and that leaves us 5x plus 56. Set each factor equal to 0, so I'll set x minus 12 equal to 0, and I'll set 5x plus 56 equal to 0. And that gives us x equals 12, 5x equal negative 56, or x equal negative 56 over 5. Obviously, negative doesn't make much sense. How long is it going to take you? Well, it's going to take me negative 2 hours. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So 12. Now, that's the time that it takes Michelle. Michelle is x. Sean is 12 plus 16. So Sean will be 28. Now, the question is, what unit of measure are we talking about? What unit of measure are we talking about? Hours, 16 more hours, so 28. And that's how you work that problem. Now, I told you that we'd revisit the quadratic formula. That's this right here. Quadratic formula, you have to identify your a, b, and c. A is whatever's in front of your x squared, which is 1. B is whatever's in front of your x, which is negative 0.8. And c is your number at the end, which is negative 134.4. You plug it into x equals negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So it'd have negative 0.8 plus or minus negative 0.8 squared minus 4 times a times c. Negative 4 times a times c, okay. All over 2a. Negative negative gives us 0.8 plus or minus. And now First thing you might want to try in a problem like this is just plug in the entire square root, see if it comes out nice. So I got negative 0.8 squared minus 4, I guess I don't need to put the 1 in there, times a negative 134.4, and that gives us 23.2 over 2. And then you can split this up into a plus version and minus version. So we're going to have 0.8 plus 23.2 over 2, which gives us 24 over 2, which gives us 12. This one will give us 0.8 minus 23.2 over 2. And at some point you're going to realize it's going to give you a negative value, which you cannot have. So that's how you can get that 12 using the quadratic formula. And you can see it's a lot easier than sitting there creating a PSD chart with all these different numbers and evaluating it. But anyway, that's how you solve that problem.